और अच्छी बात है कि आप लोग देखिए, सीखना उखना तो हो ही जाता है, सेशन को एंजॉय करिए। अगर आप एंजॉय करेंगे तो सर्टेनली यू विल लर्न समथिंग। तो कुछ यहाँ से सीख के जाएं, टेक आउट, देयर मस्ट बी सम टेक आउट फ्रॉम हियर। तो चलिए सर, बहुत अच्छी बात है कि कुछ चीजें अच्छी हो रही। और अभी सेकंड सेशन जो है हमारा प्रोफेसर मोहम्मद सरोश उमर साहब हैं। आप प्रोफेसर हैं डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ कंप्यूटर इंजीनियरिंग में, तो ही माइट बी ज्वाइनिंग इन अ व्हाइल। जैसे ज्वाइन करते हैं हम लोग शुरू करेंगे सेशन।
आज सर शर्मा सर कह रहे थे, जफर साहब से कह दीजिएगा कि ये प्रोडक्टिव सेशन था। आज लगभग 8 to 10 जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उन्होंने सबने अपनी ई बुक बनाई एंड इट वाज सर अमेजिंग।
बहुत अच्छा, अमेजिंग। हमारी थोड़ी सी दूसरी एंगेजमेंट हो जाती है, मेरी क्लास हो जाती है तो मैं वहां चला जाता हूँ। तो मैं खुद चाहता था कि पूरे सेशन में प्रेजेंट रहूं।
हाँ,
लेकिन आपके बाद
जी
हमारे
सर।
11 बजे से दोबारा दूसरी क्लास है, तो मैं चाह के अभी रह नहीं पाता हूँ यहाँ।
जी सर।
चलिए, आप लोग एंजॉय कर रहे हैं, आप लोग सीख रहे हैं, मजी बात, अच्छी बात है। अच्छा, अभी मजहर साहब ने कहा कि ये जितने भी सेशंस की रिकॉर्डिंग हैं उनका एक यूट्यूब चैनल है, उसमें वो सारे अपलोड कर देते हैं। ठीक है, वो चैनल की डिटेल आपके साथ शेयर कर देंगे, आप सभी लोग उसको सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए। तो ये जितने भी लेक्चर्स हैं इनकी सारी रिकॉर्डिंग, पूरे लेक्चर की रिकॉर्डिंग 1.5 घंटे की आपको मिल जाएगी। ठीक है, ठीक है मैम, आपने सुन लिया सभी लोगों ने कि हमने कहा अभी कि जो रिकॉर्डिंग्स है वो अवेलेबल है, वो यूट्यूब चैनल में होगा। तो अभी मजहर जैद साहब जो हैं यूजीसी एचआरडीसी के, आप ये हैं टेक्निकल स्टाफ है, तो वो आप लोगों के साथ शेयर भी करेंगे यूट्यूब का लिंक, ताकि आप लोग उसको सब्सक्राइब कर लें। और उसके बाद जितने भी प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं या जो भी क्लासेस वगैरह होती हैं वो सारी यूट्यूब पे लोग डालते रहते हैं, तो आपको वो सारी रिकॉर्डिंग वहां से आपको मिल जाएगी। यू कैन बी बेनिफिटेड फ्रॉम दैट एज। तो बहुत अच्छी बात है सर। तो हम लोग अच्छा, आप लोग थोड़ा सा अपने पेपर ऊपर पे जरूर लिख के रखिएगा कुछ फीडबैक वगैरह के बारे में। एट द एंड ऑफ द डे हम सभी रिसोर्स पर्सन के फीडबैक भी कलेक्ट करते हैं। और होता क्या है कि जैसे कि जो फर्स्ट सेशन लिया जिसने, आप भूल जाता है, लास्ट तक आते आदमी को याद नहीं रहता है ना, तो आप आउट ऑफ 10 कोई मार्किंग करके जरूर रखिए और थोड़ा सा रिमार्क्स लिख करके रखिए हर रिसोर्स पर्सन के बारे में, सो दैट हम लोग उसको फिर जब रिसोर्स पर्सन की फीडबैक आपसे ली जाएगी लास्ट डे, तो उसमें आप लोग कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकें। वरना वो क्या होता है कि भूल जाता है आदमी के जहन से निकल जाती है कि पहला दिन क्या हुआ था, कौन सा सेशन था, कैसा रहा था। तो लेक्चर के बाद ही आप एक पेपर मेंटेन करिए, वहां सेशन वाइज या जो एक स्केड्यूल है उसकी प्रिंट आउट निकाल लीजिए, उस पर आप वहीं पे कुछ मार्किंग करके अपना रख लीजिए, तो आपको फीडबैक भरने में आसानी होगी।
ओके सर।
ठीक है सर।
प्रोफेसर आसिम साहब।
जी सर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, कैसे हैं सर? खैरियत सर? Okay, so now Professor Sarosh Umar is with us basically. So before handing over the floor to him, just a brief introduction about him. Professor Mohammad Sarosh Umar is currently serving as professor in the Department of Computer Engineering, Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology, AMU, Aligarh. Professor Sarosh has a teaching and research experience of over more than 3 decades. He has been here, not only in India, but he has taught in abroad as well. Apart from that, a very distinguished part of his career is that he has been a resource person at Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, that is known as LBSNNA Mussoorie, for 5 years, and he has trained Indian Administrative Service officers at various orientation and training programs in the area of e-governance, e-commerce related topics. He has been a member of expert committee of AICT and presently serving as member of expert team of NVA and NAC accreditation councils. Professor Rose served as chairperson of the Department of Computer Engineering. In AMU, basically, for head of the department, we do have a nomenclature chairperson. So you can understand, for your understanding, that he has served as head of the Department of Computer Engineering 2 terms. And he has also been a resource person at UGC Academic Staff College. He is a regular resource person and very valuable resource person for UGC HRDC programs. He has delivered more than 70 invited talks in the area of e-governance, e-commerce, security related aspects, and software engineering. Apart from that, he has published various articles and research papers in reputed journals and invited and has presented invited papers and talks in Canada, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, France, and several states of India, including Sikkim, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Madhya Pradesh, J&K, Uttarakhand, and UP as well. His current research areas are user authentication using graphical methods, computer security, and software engineering. And he has published patents as well, 3 patents as well. So as you can see, his research area is user authentication. But today he'll be talking to you in this area. Basically, he'll not be that much technical because I will request him that the participants are from various disciplines. So he'll be talking in general terms and as much as possible, because this is a topic related to computer science, but still he will try to accommodate all the listeners over here. So the topic of his lecture is challenges and best practices in user authentication. So he'll be talking on that topic, and I am very much thankful to Professor Umar because despite his busy schedule, he has agreed to deliver the lecture because he has to tour something somewhere else as well. So I'm very much thankful to you, sir, and the floor is yours, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Asim Zafarso, for such a detailed introduction. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Audible.
Not going to share my.
Yes, sir.
I'll again check if the PPT is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
PPT.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So first of all, I'm really happy to see that we have got
Yes, sir.
participants from all across India. In fact, some are from West Bengal, even Goa also. So it's a very diverse participants from different parts of the country. So it's certainly a pleasure to address such a learned audience. The topic of my discussion today will be a very pertinent topic, especially when we are talking about the use of IT in various applications in all walks of life. So once we use IT, then everything will be having its own pros and cons. So today's discussion will be on a very important area, which is called as the user authentication. And we shall see what are the challenges and what should be the best practices to circumvent the problems that we are facing. Now, I just went through some statistical information, statistical data that I collected. I found that over the last 20 years or so, there have been losses to the tune of billions of dollars throughout the world. And all these losses have happened because of a theft which is called as the identity theft. That is, someone steals your ID and ultimately makes money out of it. So you can see the figures before you. In fact, last year also 2023, the amount exceeded $50 billion, and that's not a small amount. Even in India, we have been losing money. People are becoming victims to such kind of thefts. And we have all seen what happened during the pandemic. Everything became online. No one was allowed to go outside. So all the transactions were carried out in an online manner. So there was a big boost in the use of technology, the use of information technology, basically. And that also was a very fertile ground for all these scamsters, all these people who are basically interested in minting money out of such kind of a situation. So this is what has been happening. More than 1 million cases were there in US only. So you can see these thefts are increasing day by day, and recently it was around 1.5 million in US only. And so far as the Indian statistics is concerned, we found that about 27 million people experienced this identity theft during last year. And it is obvious that if no check is made, if we are not going to control it, if you are not going to be cautious about it, such kind of cases are going to increase. There's no doubt about it. And how do these losses occur. How does this identity theft occur? Now that is the question, that you have got your ID, you have you think that your resources are secure, but they are not. So how does this theft happen? So mostly it happens through phishing. That is, there can be some spurious sites. You're trying to access your bank account, and something similar to the bank account pops up on the screen, and you are gullible enough to start your transaction. You start giving your username, you start giving your password, and so on. You divulge your details, and ultimately you are a victim to this ID theft. Phishing is also which is happening. Phishing is same to phishing, but there you get a voice call. That is, people call you on phone, or maybe a voice message is there, so it's related to voice. Then social engineering, guessing. People can guess your password. If you are not making a very strong password, then people can easily guess it. Or there can be some brute force attack. One can keep on trying all possible passwords which are possible using the method that you are using. So we have got powerful computers nowadays, and they can start crunching information, start crunching data. They can keep on trying all the possible combination of your password, and perhaps in just a matter of few hours, your password can be hacked. So such things have been happening. When we talk of this ID theft, it is not happening by some person who may be known to you, or somebody who's just a college student trying to play a prank. It is not like that. Maybe somebody might be interested in hacking a password just for the sake of fun, but mainly this is a serious business. There are people, there are syndicates which are involved in gathering all this information, all this data, and they will be extracting the data from various resources. They have got huge data banks. We all know that we share our data banks to various entities. Banks know our ID cards, they have got all the information about us. Likewise, universities have got our information. Railway reservation system, anywhere you talk about, and you are going to divulge your data to these different services. And you're not sure whether this data can be stolen from these service providers. So we are not sure of, although they say that your data is protected with us, it is safe, but you can never be sure about it, because how safe they are ensuring that your data is, so it depends upon them. So we have got people who are working in this area, and for long, we all know that such kind of things have been happening. Human trafficking, illegal drugs, and all kinds of immoral activities, they are happening on the net also. We have got dark web. You might have heard of this term. So there is a parallel web which is controlled by these spurious elements, terrorism, weapons, and so on, money laundering. Now, at the same time, this kind of syndicate has started working in the area of financial scams also, ID theft, frauds, malicious code. It can be credit card fraud. Then it can be about theft of information, sale of information. Then we've got the area of stock exchanges, where again there are people who are involved, who are indulging in malpractices. And we have seen so many scams which have happened in the area of this stock market also, software piracy. You think of any crime and it is there and managed by all these syndicates. So, and you might have heard of this scam which is called as a fee scam. I hope you remember that there were days.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, I think your slides are not moving.
Acha, okay, let me check again. Thanks for telling me. Can you see it right now?
Yes, yes, sir. Now it's
Okay.
moving.
Again, go for the full screen and then I'll check with you.
Okay, sir.
This is visible. And now, is it changing now?
I cannot see, sir.
It is not visible,
No,
sir. Please share your screen.
Okay, thanks for telling
no,
me.
your screen is visible.
Sir,
Your
your
screen is
screen is
visible,
not
but slides are not moving.
That PPT should be shared, sir. Actually, it is not shared.
In fact, I have shared. In fact, I'm going to stop it. And again, can I, you see, some of you are able to watch the slideshow, but is it true with all of them? That is, no one is able to watch the slides?
I
Sir,
cannot.
your
I can
slideshow
see
is not visible.
Yes, sir.
I can
Yes,
see
sir.
the slides, sir, but not moving.
Okay,
You just reshare once again.
I'm going to do that. Please let me know if it is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Visible, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for
Yes.
your cooperation, and I'll move ahead now. So I was talking about the various crimes which are happening across the globe. So one of the crimes that you might have heard of was the fee scam. So there were times when one used to receive those mails by post, and it used to say that you have received some $1 million prize money, some lottery, or somebody, so some ancestor has died and he has left with you with so much property and so on. And people used to fall for those scams, and they used to divulge their information. They came into contact with those scamsters, and ultimately they were caught in some kind of a vicious circle in which they were expected to pay money for getting back their inherent whatever property they inherited, whatever lottery they won, and so on. So that was happening during the postal days. The same thing started happening once email came into existence, and people started getting those spam mails. We have all seen those. So the name given to that is fee scam. Interestingly, although this has been there for such a long time, yet we find people falling prey to such kind of schemes. So this is what is happening. I hope you can see the change slide now. The next slide. Yes.
No, sir.
Sir, it is
No,
not changed.
No, sir.
Okay, although I have changed it, I can see the mistake.
No, sir.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
share the whole screen now. I'm going to, although I avoid sharing the whole screen, but I'll do that now. Well, somehow my system is not allowing me to share the entire screen, but I'm not going to go for full screen slideshow. Rather, I'll just keep it limited here now.
Sir, we can see the introduction page. It is okay, sir.
Okay. I'm not going for the entire slideshow, so I hope you can see what's there on the screen now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what is happening now is that over the last several years, we find that the use of mobile phones is rising. We all know that. In 2000, there were just 500 million users throughout the world. But now in 2015, we found that the number of mobile phones matched the world population. And now the world population has crossed even 8 billion this year in January. So the world population has crossed the figure of 8 billion. And all these 8 billion people, they are using the mobile phone. In fact, the number of mobile devices in the world, it has risen from 13 to now around 17 billion. So that is the number of mobile devices throughout the world. Why I'm talking about this mobile devices is indeed connected to what's happening. So mobile users has increased. It was expected to be around 7.5 billion, almost same as the population. And with these mobile phones, initially smartphones were not so popular. Phones were simple phones, but nowadays with the production of low cost phones which can access the net, which have got large screens, so smartphones are there, and their number two is now matching almost same as the world population. And world population has risen very rapidly after this in this last 100 years, as we've seen, and we are expecting that in 2036 it will reach 9 billion, although in the map it is shown here is to 2048, but I know that even before that the population will rise to 9 billion. So much population is there, and everyone is using technology, and there are people who are interested in making a business out of it. Not exactly the business, but something which is fishy, which is not ethical. And for them, this much population is a prospective prey to them. So this is a reality which is happening, and we have to be aware of how to protect ourselves. So once we talk about the mobile phones, we all know that mobile phones are a tool for social transformation. Everybody is now connected throughout the world 24/7. They know what their friends, what their relatives, what their known acquaintances they are doing. They are always in touch. So much uh, possibilities exist now. Social media is there. You can have all those chats and so on. We all know that what is happening. Now, one major application of these mobile phones is for carrying financial transactions. And now we know that India is also a precursor to this advent of UPI. Everyone has started using UPI in a big way. You have got your phone for that. Mobile devices are there through which you are carrying out financial transaction, however little they are, but you are doing it. So this entry of the mobile phones into the world of banking and finance, that has really increased the concern for the aspect of security. And once we are talking about security, we have to know how we can ensure that only the rightful owner or the authorized person is able to access all these services. And we see that we are talking about the cashless society. We are moving in that era where all the transactions will be carried out through your mobile phone or through your cards. Very few people will be carrying the cash in their hands. So in this scenario that we are all living in, we need to have this authentication, which should be secure, it should be strong, it should be dependable, reliable. Otherwise, we'll be victims to the various kinds of problems that are happening throughout the world. By the way, I was going through this interesting book, rather diary of Babar Nama, and while going through, I came across a passage where I found that Babar and his troops army was heading through the region of Aush and Andijan. So they were traveling towards India, and at when they were camped at the place called Aush, a small section of the troop went to a nearby village in Andijan for plundering, basically raiding the village. And it so happened that when the party returned, the main army was not able to identify that who these people are, because there wasn't any uniform. People did not use the army men, the soldiers, they did not have any proper uniform. They were just like common people. And in order to distinguish between the friend and the foe, that is the enemy, they used to use some kind of a password. On that night, they had settled on a password that if someone said Tashkent, then the answer would be Sairam. So that was the password that night. Now, when the troop returned, and this Mughal army, they asked for the password, the commander uttered the magic word Tashkent, and the fellow who, the troop which returned, they forgot. And they also uttered Tashkent, although they had to reply something else, like Sairam had to be responded, but he got confused. He did not, could not remember this password. And eventually Babar writes that there was much chaos. The drum beats were raised and the war cries were raised, and the troops started pouring arrows upon this, and lots of chaos was there, and the army got scattered. So this was an example when I read Babar Nama. So I saw that during those days also they were using some kind of a password. Likewise, thousands of years ago, 2000 years ago, Roman army also had some password. So password is not nothing, something new. Rather, it has been used for long. So when we talk of authentication, what is authentication? And you are from various backgrounds, but I'm sure that everyone knows what is meant by authentication. So it's basically the act of confirming the truth of an attribute of any entity or the data or a person. So it basically involves confirming the identity of a person or something like a software program, or it can be regarding tracing the origins of any artifacts, something which is of historical importance, some painting or some other artifact, some rare item from history, historical significance. So in order to know whether it is fake or it is real, so that method of confirmation is termed as authentication. So you have got something which has got a particular label, but in order to know exactly that this is really the something which is claimed, then you'll be knowing that, okay, it's genuine and original thing. So this is what authentication is. You can also say that it is the positive verification of identity. Identity of what? A man or machine. Now, when we are talking about a person, because the talk today is about the user authentication, so we are mainly interested in authenticating a person. So how do we know that the person who is claiming to be someone is indeed the one that who is claiming to be? So there are three categories of knowing that, of identifying. One is what you know. That is, you know some information which the other party doesn't know. And then when you reveal that information, then that person knows, okay, you are really the person who you are claiming to be. So what you know, you carry some secret information, which when you divulge to the other party, then they are able to know, okay, you really are the person who you are telling. This is one way of doing it. The other is what you have. That is, you carry some identity card with you, something that you possess, some physical entity. So when you show that physical entity, the other party knows, okay, this is who you are. And the third possibility is who you are. That is, we know our friends, we know our acquaintances, relatives, everyone that we see just by watching their faces. So we identify the person just by looking at him, or just by listening to his voice. We exactly know who that person is. So there will be some physical, biological traits through which we can identify a person. So when we talk of the first category, that what you know, so you know some secret information. Now that secret information can be your password. So when you reveal that password, you are identified as a friend or a foe or a stranger. Or it can be a passphrase, not necessarily a single string of letters. Rather, you can have a sentence also. Complete for passphrase will be there. Or it can be your PIN number, personal identification number, like you use with your ATM card. 4-digit PIN is there. So you carry some secret information, and ultimately the other party knows that who you are. So by revealing that information. The second category is you carry something in your person. You have got some card, something like a passport, or it can be Aadhaar card, or it can be any other document like driver's license, PAN card, credit card, voter's ID card. So many items are possible which can help you in revealing your identity to the concerned person. So this is there for long, some kind of document you carry, we all know that, and by showing that document, the other party knows who we are. But of course, some of these items cannot be directly used on the net, and we are interested in the information area of information technology. So there, one has to show some kind of a document in order to authenticate yourself. So one way can be you carry some paper-based card, or it can be some digital authentication. So that there can be some physical devices to aid the authentication. And common examples will be you can carry some smart cards, you can carry ATM cards, you have got some e-tokens, and you are all familiar with the credit card, the ATM card. So that is something which helps you to be authenticated in the digital world. I've also used one more term here, which is called as RFID. It was unknown some years ago to the masses, but nowadays we have got application of RFID in a big way in India, and everyone knows what RFID is, radio frequency identification. That is, there is a sticker, there is a card which can be used for identifying a person or identifying any object. I'll tell you more about this because we are all learned people here, and little knowledge always comes handy. So there can be some e-token. There was a time when banks used to have some kind of a keyring, key fob, on which some unique number was displayed. So when you were accessing your bank account, you provided your username, your password, and then you read through that USB card. So in that USB fob, there was some number, and that you had to reveal. It was similar to the cases that now you're getting the OTP from the bank. So that is a direct kind of a method in which the moment you give your username, you get some kind of an OTP on a mobile phone, registered mobile phone, and then you have to. So this kind of authentication is a multi-factor authentication. You are providing your password, along with that some kind of OTP is also being revealed. And this is the reason that sometimes if it so happens that you find that your mobile is not working, the signal is not there, or some kind of problem has occurred, then don't take it lightly. There is a possibility that somebody has replicated your SIM card. Somebody has started using your SIM card in his own phone, and your SIM card is dead, and that's the reason that you're not able to make the calls. So once somebody has got your SIM card by hook or crook, there are means through which he can get the same number. One can do that by using some fake IDs. Then he'll be having complete control over your transaction, over your bank. So be very careful once your phone doesn't start responding. E-tokens, they're also there. Again, you've got something like a USB, and you can insert in your computer, and that will help you in authenticating some kind of a software. Such kind of tricks are used for controlling software piracy. Smart cards are nothing but the size of the credit card, and they've got some built-in microprocessor, which you can think of a computer is inside, or some unique number is there. It's like some memory is there and something is stored there. So that can be accessed along with your other means of authentication. So this can be done in contact mode or in contactless mode also. I was talking about RFID. So although we don't have many people from the background of engineering, but any person can understand what RFID is. It is about you can have a tag. It's like a card or a sticker which contains a unique code, a unique number. Say the number is 102, and then it has got some built-in antenna. Now, when you have got a reader or an interrogator, and you bring this tag close to that reader, and that reader can access that unique number. Now, this simple technology, which is called as the RFID, that is used for identification of persons or identification of any object. And we are all familiar what happens at the toll gates. We have got now a big, vast network of roads, and they are coming up. Expressways are there, and everywhere they are collecting tolls. Although it's hard on our pockets, but the roads have become really quite good to drive. And what happens there is every car has got a tag which is called as a fast tag. So there's nothing but the RFID tag. So once the car reaches the toll gate, there your unique number is read. That unique number is sent to some central database. There all your information exists. What is the registration number of the car? Who is the owner? What is the make of the car, model, and so much details are there, which are connected with the RTO. And whatever amount is there in your account, from that the toll is collected. So that's a very simple means of collecting the toll. In India, we have got a barrier. We have all seen that when we are passing through that toll gate, there is a barrier. But in the advanced developed countries, you don't find such kind of barriers. The cars can move around at the speed of 120 kilometers per hour, and the toll is automatically collected. So there is no need for having such kind of a barrier there. But of course, the Indian mindset is like that, that you have some kind of a scenario where barrier is also installed. So FASTag is a very good example where RFID is being used. So what is the purpose of this RFID? Again, knowing the identity of the person. And if somebody steals your RFID card, then he or she can again make some spurious transaction, which will be happening in your name. The third category of authentication is who you are. who you are. How do we know who the other person is? Just by looking at the face. So this category is that of biometrics. It is called as biometrics. So it can be your fingerprint, it can be your hand geometry, it can be your palm print, it can be your retinal scan, it can be again your iris scan. This is retinal scan, this is the iris of a human eye, or it can be the ear shape. It can be so many ways through which we can gather the information about the biometrics. These are basically physical biometrics, the traits which the Almighty, the nature that has given to us. It's unique to every person. So this information can be used sometimes easily, sometimes with difficulty, to authenticate a person. So we can know exactly who the person is. And at the core of all these biometrics, we have got the DNA. So DNA is the unique string of digits, which is unique to any human being. It's a long string, and DNA plays a very important role in various aspects of the human life. Well, that is an area of biology, but all of you know what the importance of DNA is. And in some cases, sometimes DNA is also used for authenticating, for identifying, or for knowing a person. If some crime happens or something goes wrong, then the DNA can be extracted and then that can be matched with the culprit or the person of concern. So we all know what is these physical biometrics. Most of these like fingerprint, retinal scan, iris, face recognition, all such technology exists and it is being widely used. There are shortcomings, there are problems also, but they are being used. The second way of recognition of a person, authenticating a person, is through behavioral biometrics. Now, behavior, everyone will be having some kind of a unique behavior. The way you talk, your voice is unique to you. The way you write, your signature. In fact, signatures have been used for long in the banking system and for all other documents. Your signature reveals your identity. Of course, people can always fake. There are people who can make very good signatures. They can replicate the signatures. But we all know that handwriting is unique to a person. Even the way you type on the screen, on your computer, the keystrokes, that is also unique. The way you walk, gait, that is a person, suppose it's dark and you're not able to see the person who is coming towards you, you're not able to, or he's not speaking, so you're not able to hear him. But just by the way the person is walking, you can identify, okay, this is my friend Rakesh who is coming. So this is all about behavioral biometrics. Fingerprints are very commonly used. Since this is not a technical lecture, so I'm not going to go into the details of how it is done, but we all know that every person has got some unique ridges, valleys, and peaks. They are there. So they are used for authenticating a person. Now, we have talked about 3 different ways of knowing a person. What you know, you carry some secret information. What you have, you carry something in your person, some document, some card, or it can be who you are, your biometrics. But all these 3 ways of authentication, they are not the perfect solutions. They have got their own drawbacks. They have got their own limitations. For example, when we talk of biometrics, which is now being used, these are not simple systems. They are complex systems. And immediately cost also becomes high. Once you integrate biometrics with the access control, you want to access some secured premises, there you find that biometrics is there. So biometric scanners are available now at various places. So it is costly. Otherwise, everyone would be using this biometrics. There were laptops which used to have this biometrics. Thumbprint recognition was there, but it was removed because, again, it was increasing the cost. Now we have got a simple way, that is the camera which is integrated with the laptop or with your mobile phone. That can be very easily used for authenticating a person through face recognition, but still the cost is high. So initially, the biometrics method of authentication was limited to only some areas like defense, advanced research centers, and other high security areas. And it was difficult to use it for general purpose authentication. And it is also prone to false detection also. It is not 100% correct. There will be times when you're using your finger, but you're not able to, you are not able to be identified. And therefore, the use is still not widespread. Moreover, replication of biometric information is possible. And this reminds me of a scenario at AMU. That is, you know that AMU conducts so many competitive examinations, and we were involved in this engineering entrance test. So we found that sometimes that is everything is done in a very systematic manner, immaculate manner. It is done. Everything is very clean, and yet we used to find that the people who were the students who were able to enter and crack this examination, sometimes they found it very difficult to pass even the first year of engineering. That is, the quality of the students were quite questionable. So immediately got to know that something is wrong somewhere, and we knew that there is a possibility of impersonation. In fact, impersonation is quite rampant these days. Just 2 days ago, on February 17th, there was a UP police constable examination. And all over UP, around 122 candidates were arrested because they were impersonating for some other. You might have heard of those solver gangs. So this is a reality which is happening. So in order to overcome this kind of a problem at our engineering college, we developed a biometric system. We also filed a patent for that. So in that, we used to collect information about the face, the thumbprint, and the signature at the time of once a person fills the form, and once you appear for the entrance test, when you physically sit there, we have got a provision through which we take the photograph, thumbprint, as well as signature. Now, when we release the merit list of those students who were admitted, those admitted students were called to our office, dean's office, and there we made an elaborate arrangement. The students were not aware of what's happening, but when they came for getting their admission, we asked them to provide their biometric information. We had those cameras installed, we had those thumb scanners, we took the signatures, and then there was a team which was sitting and monitoring in real time as to what was happening. And you will not believe, but at first go, when we did it for the first time, out of 120 admissions on the first day, we caught 28 such candidates whose information did not match. And we caught them, that they started crying. They said we had given so much money to some party and so on. That is, and they sent some impersonators and so on. So this was something which was happening. When people got to know that AMU has got such a robust system, then they are also clever people. We again found some candidates appearing in the examination who used to wear some kind of a latex rubber print onto the thumbs. So they wanted to fool the system. So there are companies somewhere in Calcutta also which make these latex rubber thumbprint replication. That is, you can input your information using wearing those simple latex material. So replication is possible. So that opened our eyes. So we have got now a robust system through which we are able to eradicate such issues. So biometric is there, quite helpful, but it too has got some lacuna. Drawbacks are there. Likewise, when you carry something in your person, like you carry your ATM card, so these two are susceptible to loss or theft. Somebody can steal this card. These cards can get damaged also. And moreover, when you are going to some place, I recall that there were some cases when somebody was a tourist and visited some foreign country, especially in the Latin America or this Southeast Asian countries. There, one had to be very careful while using their credit cards or the ATM cards, because the point of sale machine used to collect the data of that card, and then all this information was used to again manufacture those cards, duplicate those cards. So this was happening. So replication is possible for these tokens and for these cards also, and these can be shared, these can be loans, and we all know that there are so many stories which are there pertinent to the thefts, the scams which happen at the ATMs. One of the most popular method of authenticating is you have been using your passwords. In fact, when the computers were developed, during late 40s, the first thing people realized was that one had to secure the access to these machines, powerful machines, but they are very expensive machines. So they did not want everyone to start using those systems. So they immediately realized the importance, and they had this kind of a system that some password had to be used. So they provide the username and the passwords. Only those who were authorized, they could access. So these passwords are there for long, since ages. And all of you are using password, we all know that. And this is based on precise recall. Whatever password you have created, the same has got to be used at the login time. Now, when we talk of a human being, we have got limitations so far as our memory is concerned. You create very simple password, we all know, because you want to recall them easily. If you create some very difficult password like capital B, X, U, T, 1, 3, hash, Z, and so on, a long string of such complex numbers, then you will certainly forget that password in a day or two. So this is the human vulnerability. That is, you are not able to memorize complex passwords. So what do? You basically use simple passwords to facilitate memorization. Another thing that you most often do is you use the same password for various applications. You have got email accounts, you've got account on Gmail, you've got account on Yahoo, you've got social media accounts, Facebook account, Instagram accounts, you have got bank accounts, you may be having 1, 2, 3, 4 bank accounts. You have got your mobile phone, that too has got some password. You have got those e-commerce websites, you access those Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, and so on, so many e-commerce websites. You just think of various areas where you are required to create some kind of a username and a password, and you will really end up with maybe 10 or 15 or more passwords. So what you do normally, you choose the same password for all these different applications. I think it's true because most of the people do that for the sake of ease of memorization. And this is a serious limitation, because if one password is cracked, then all your rest of the services will be affected. You will have to change the password for all those different services. Another thing that you normally do is, because you forget the password so easily, you write them down. You write them down on a piece of paper, you write them down in your diary, or perhaps you write them down on your mobile phones, or perhaps you just send yourself an email and save the information in an email. So these are all security risks. If somebody is able to access this information, then certainly you will be a victim to all these thefts. A very common thing which happens is people share their passwords. They share to their loved ones, to their children, to their parents, or whoever, because they know they trust, and they share these passwords. Now, once this is out of your hands, you never know what's going to happen. There have been so many incidents, there have been so many cases. You see, what is happening is technology is accessible to one and all, but people are not aware how to use the technology, how to make them secure and safe. There was a non-teaching staff in our department who retired, but then he visited the department, said this, sir, I wanted to file an FIR. Because I said, what happened? So it so happened that he simply had given the ATM card to his son, and they got some call. Those scamsters are there, and the person started asking for all this information about what is the number of your card and so on, tiny details, finer details, and he just revealed this PIN code also. That happened. So once you share the information with even your loved ones, you are not sure what is going to happen. Another way of through which your password is sometimes hacked or seen by others, it is called as shoulder surfing. It is like somebody is watching from your shoulder. You sit in some public area, maybe you're visiting, you are at the airport or somewhere, and you open your laptop. You start your laptop or your mobile phone in a public place, but you do not realize that there are people around who might be looking at what you are entering. This term is called as shoulder surfing, and it is very simply said, shoulder surfing. Somebody peeps from across your shoulder, but it's not that simple. There are different ways through which this shoulder surfing can happen. This is an example. Somebody is using his laptop or a computer, entering the password there, and there will be someone placed at a distance. He might be using a powerful camera with a good zoom lens, and he can watch exactly what you are entering there. There have been cases when a person entered the password in his chamber, and there was some shiny, polished electric kettle there, and the reflection was sensed from another building which was across the street. Somebody was sitting with a telescope recording all the movements, and from the reflection on this shiny polished kettle surface, the person was able to extract the password. So shoulder surfing is not just limited to someone peeping from behind across from the shoulder and watching what you're entering. It's a serious thing. And there are people are inclined to develop more methods through which the password can be hacked using this simple method of shoulder surfing. So what to do? How to prevent shoulder surfing? Should we just protect? There are ways. Something has got to be done through which when you are entering the password, then it should not be seen by others. So something has got to be done. This is another very interesting way through which your PIN number can be stolen. What you see here, I have shown the snapshot of a keypad, which may be a part of your ATM machine, or it can be the point of sale machine at some retail store where you are giving the credit card or the ATM card or the debit card, whatever it is. And then there's another picture of the same. What is this picture? This is basically the snapshot of the same keypad using a special camera, which is a thermal camera. And what does this thermal camera do? It is able to sense the amount of heat present on any surface. The portion which is hottest, warmest of all, that will appear to be in red color. And those which are cool areas, they will appear to be blue. And the variations are there in between. So what I'm going to tell you is that suppose you are standing in a queue and making transaction on some point of sale machine at a retail store, and there's someone behind you and very innocently, very innocuously using his mobile phone. And you are not at all concerned what that person is doing. What he simply does is, when you enter, you swipe your card, you enter your PIN number, and then you move away. This person just takes a snapshot of the point of sale machine through the thermal camera. So what you thought was a simple mobile phone, it was not merely a simple mobile phone, rather it had a thermal camera attached to that. And if you look at the image which has been captured, just by observing these colors, you will be able to identify what PIN the person had entered. So you had left that machine, you are gone, but this man captures the photograph after you are gone. This is something which is happening. This is a reality, and people are not aware of that. And you see, if you look at these red colors, this is the hottest. Then before that, because even when you are entering the PIN number, it will take some small time. Some time difference will be there. Now, based upon that time difference, more red, still lesser, and this was the one which was pressed first. So this number is 4185. This was the PIN number which was captured by the person who was standing behind in the queue. He was not directly watching what you're entering. He just took a snapshot after you had left. And if you think that what I'm talking about is fiction, you can buy this camera on Amazon. These are available. This is something which I saw this morning also. In fact, just a couple of years ago, there were just a few cameras which are available online. So the cost is something around 35,000. So you can attach this mobile camera to your phone. So there's a attachment here, and you directly connect to your iPhone or the Android phone, and this camera will become a part of your mobile phone, and it will start capturing the images. And the cost is just around 20,000, 18,000. One can easily buy. There's another one from Perfect Prime. So this can also be attached to your phone. a small attachment, it becomes a part of your phone and you can capture images. So this is a phone, the camera, small camera is attached here with, and you're able to capture images, which are the thermal images. So this is indeed a very serious business which is happening, and we are living in a world which is full of such complication and where we have to stay alert at all times. So this was an example of shoulder slipping. I was talking about somebody peeping from behind, but the things have become, things really have come a long way. Here also, we have got a method through which your information can be stolen at the ATM machine. Such cases have happened. This is a real thing which is happening. So one has to remain cautious. At the ATM machine, the guy who is interested in stealing information attaches a similar looking device where you insert your ATM card. So you do not realize that this is basically a skimmer device which is attached, and you innocuously just enter your card strictly. So the information on that card is sensed, either it is a magnetic strip or it can be the chip there. The data can be collected through this skimmer device. Then the pin that you enter, that can be extracted through this spurious keyboard which can be attached, and it looks like as if it is a part of the ATM machine. Or the other simple method is you attach a simple camera, mount it, and again it looks like as if this ATM machine has got this attachment because you're not aware of the technology which is being used there. So it looks like as if it is a part of the ATM machine, and this camera keeps on recording whatever information that you enter here. So you give your PIN number, it is recorded. So this person comes to this ATM machine in the morning, attaches the skimmer device, attaches the camera here, and leaves. Throughout the day, people come, carry out transaction on the ATM machine, enter their PIN number, withdraw money, and so on. It keeps on happening. Now, at the end of the day, this person comes back, retrieves his camera, retrieves his skimmer device, and extracts all the information, and ultimately your information gets stolen, your ATM card gets replicated, PIN number is already known. So every information about your banking accounts are available with those persons. So
Sir, I have a query.
yes,
May
yes.
I ask? Hello.
Yes.
Sir, suppose someone has stolen that information, that pin, someone has used that and they have got that information. But is it that means only through PIN he is able to access all kind of information about that particular debit card or
You
that
see,
it,
when you're using your ATM card or the debit card, at
yes,
the ATM, what you do, you just swipe your card. So
yes,
while
sir.
you're swiping, either the magnetic strip is there, magnetic information is being swiped, or you have got the chip there. Advanced cards have got the chip is there, electronic chip, IT chip. So information is stored in that chip, or the magnetic strip is read by this skimmer device, which I've shown. This is a simple device which can extract that information. Simultaneously, your PIN number is also required. How to extract that PIN? For that, there's a small camera attached here, which keeps on recording, and times are synchronized. That is, at what time you swipe your card, and at what time instant this camera captured the PIN number which you were entering on this keypad. So this, throughout the day, maybe 1,000 people use that ATM machine. So all this 1,000 information about the PIN number, 1,000 magnetic strip data, all this will be available with these guys. So this information can be easily used.
Okay, sir. And for that retail shop, there someone has taken the screenshot. So at that time, he only got that PIN number.
PIN number along with this, along with the ATM data, because skimmer device also there. Two things are required. It's a two-factor authentication at the ATM machine. If there's third thing, let's say you also enable your OTP and your mobile phone, the OTP comes, then that will be the third way of further safeguarding your transaction. So maybe some means will be adopted for that also. And I've told you that if your phone is not working for some length of time, be very cautious. Maybe someone has already stolen your SIM and he's using your SIM for carrying out the transactions. So this is something which is happening, and that's why I started with this lecture with telling you that $50 billion worth of financial losses happened because of identity theft. So there's a serious scenario, and since we are all teachers, we should know what is happening and make others aware also. Then you all use your system like computers at public places, as I've told you. There can be some CCTV cameras which will be recording all the movements. So that is also possible. Or they can be software which are we call as the key loggers. That is, you're not aware that unknowingly you install some software on your phone or on your computer, thinking that that particular software was something, some user-friendly software which you wanted to use some kind of utility, but you do not know that hidden behind that software is some key logger software. It keeps on keeping track of all the keys that you press on your computer. And this information is sent maybe thousands of miles away, and people are sitting there who keep monitoring and extract the relevant information. Because while using your computer, you might have accessed the bank account also, you have given your username, you've given your password, and all this is sent to those people who are thousands of miles away, extracting the information through the key loggers. Likewise, there can be a spoof keyboard also. What is spoof keyboard? It's a normal keyboard, but when you press the keys, the information is either stored directly on the keyboard or sent through Wi-Fi, wireless means, to some receiver which may be 100 meters away from you. And there is a story, a real story, which happened in some bank in Hong Kong, that the manager had his own system in his chamber. In the morning time, 6 o'clock, the cleaner came. He replaced the manager's keyboard with another one which looked very similar to the previous keyboard and left. When the bank opened, 9 o'clock, manager entered his cabin. The first thing that he did was he just opened his banking account, entered his username, password, everything, without even realizing that the keyboard has been changed. It was of the same make, same color, everything was same. He could not distinguish. And while he was entering all this information, there was a van parked on near the building, and there were people who were getting all this information wirelessly. Whatever keys that the person entered, that data was transferred to that van, and then it was stolen. So this is indeed something which has happened. So people who are in responsible position, they also have to be careful that whether the keyboard has not been changed or what is happening, or maybe using some strange computer at some other location, then be careful that you do not divulge much of your information on some strange computer. Then phishing sites which appear to be same as the banking site. This is a very common way of stealing your identity. You open SBI online bank account, open site, a site pops up on the screen, very much similar, in fact, almost identical to the original one, but there might be some difference so far as the link is concerned. And unknowingly, you just enter your username, you enter your password, you get the OTP, and you enter that also, and ultimately you authenticate. You think that you are authenticating yourself. It simply says incorrect password. So you thought that, okay, you entered the password in some incorrect manner. Maybe one letter was missed. Now this site is removed from the screen, and the genuine one pops up on the screen. Then you can carry out your own transaction. But your information is already lost. It is sent to those persons who were phishing your information. Now, when we talk of these passwords, text-based passwords are there, but I know that not many people are there from the background of mathematics, but you know that using the text-based password, you are using the lowercase alphabets, A, B, C, D, uppercase alphabets. Then you use numerals 0 to 9, so 10 digits are there. And then you can also use some special characters like question mark, hash, dash, star, and so on. Some special characters are there. So if you're using 26 uppercase, 26 lowercase, 10 numerals, 30 special cases, so it comes out to be around, and you're using a 10-digit password. So the possibility which exists is, it is approximately 10 to the power 20 different passwords. Okay, so it looks like the text-based password is very strong, very difficult to crack, because it has got so many different possibilities, so many combinations are there, 10 to about 20 zeros. It's a huge figure. But what happens is, people do not use this whole spectrum of password. What you do is, you just use very small, simple password, which you can easily remember. And there have been some research studies which shows that out of 14,000 different passwords. 1/4 of these passwords were cracked using a dictionary of just 3 million words, 30 lakh words. So those from those, all these 14,000, almost 1/4 were cracked. And moreover, 1/3 of passwords can be found in a dictionary. That is again a reality. And password cracking softwares can be easily downloaded and they are available. So whatever password that you create, that can be very easily broken. So do not remain in the comfort zone that you have created a very strong password and it cannot be cracked. It can be surely cracked. This is a reality and we should live with that. And rather we have to be careful and we should know the do's and don'ts as to how we can keep our transactions safe and make others also aware. So what you find is that the password that you are using, it is not really authenticating the user, rather it is just authenticating the person or the machine which is able to provide that unique password. Okay, so this is a realization. So it is really very important that we should, as the responsible persons of the society, we should know how we should create these passwords and how we should avoid, we should avoid. So best practices have got to be known. So do pick a password that you will remember. First of all, that is of importance. If you pick something which you are not going to remember, then obviously you are lost. Change your password regularly. Not many people do that. You create one password and then you stick with that password for ages. And out of, I think, 135 participants here, I'm sure there will be many who changed their password about 1 year ago. Think, have an introspection, and then you'll realize that yes, you're not following a safe practice here. Do use a mix of uppercase and lowercase characters. Use punctuation marks, special characters, hash, dollar, percentage. Those also should be integrated. Now you will say that if you are going to use all these things, uppercase, lowercase, punctuation marks, special characters, then it is going to make our password difficult to remember. That is also happening. At the same time, we are saying that choose a password that you will remember. So what is to be done? Maybe you can use some simple method. You can say that you have got some sentence like, do you know the way to San Jose? Now you can convert this sentence into a password. So the sentence is something which you will remember. Or maybe it's your favorite sentence, if your favorite dream to go to, let's say, or you want to know the way to San Jose. So that password becomes DYKTWTSJ. It looks a very abstract kind of a password, a very random password, which will be very difficult for the computer or the other person who is watching you entering the password to guess. Not easy to remember. But you will remember because you know that it's just a culmination or a change of the sentence into this unique code. Choose a password that you can type very quickly without having to look at your keyboard, especially when you're using your mobile device or the laptop in public area, railway station or the airport. Be careful. Write it very quickly. Of course, if you are typing it quickly but beneath a CCTV camera, then one can easily replay that camera footage at slow speed and can easily know exactly what you had entered. So try to hide it also with the other hand. Use a password with 8 or more characters. More is better. And for God's sake, for different services, for different accounts, for different applications, choose different passwords. Don't use the same password. Don't use the same stick to for all these services. Choose different passwords. Try to make your password as meaningless and as random as possible. So this is something that you have to do. I was talking about choosing a very difficult kind of a password, which others may not be able to guess or may not be able to know, even if they watch you entering 1 or 2 letters, yet they will find it difficult to guess. So that is, you convert some phrase which you remember, maybe a sentence from some poem, maybe from some share or whatever, something that is in your mind, which is your favorite thing. Let's say something is like, I want to go to England. This is a sentence that you want to just remember. So the password that you can create out of it is IW, replace 2 with figure 2, then G, Again, the next two with this two, and E for England, IW2G2E. This looks like a very random kind of a password, but you know what this password is. Now the question is that you are going to use this password for, or rather you have to have password for different services. You want to use it for e-commerce, you want to use it for email accounts and so on. Password should be different. So one simple way that you can try is, you see, I can only advise, I can only just tell you, you can come up with more intelligent solutions. Let's say if you want to use password for Flipkart, then use capital F at the beginning of this, FIW2G2E. Now Flipkart ends with T, so add T at the end. So this is a unique password for your Flipkart account. Likewise, for Amazon, it can be capital A here and ends with small n, and so on. So this simple method will help you in remembering this complex password, and you will not be vulnerable to theft. I hope you understand this simple method. So this is one of the best practice. Likewise, when you out the yes. Any question?
Advanced query. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, please tell me.
So it is said that our security system. It is said that our security system is as strong as the weakest link, and very often weakest link is not the technology but we human ourselves. And the security vulnerability especially comes into picture when we are dealing with the passwords, and it is very difficult because we are dealing with so many applications. So difficult to remember passwords.
Yes.
So can we use some other methods like those password managers and other things for remembering our passwords?
Tools are available through which the ease of authentication is being increased. So such tools can be used, but again, you are dependable. You're depending upon these tools. Okay, and tell you very frankly, these tools are being used by those hackers also. They also know how these tools are acting as a buffer between your password and whatever you enter through those tools. So schemes are there, methods are there. I'm talking about using the present scenario when services are available. We all access our Gmail account, banking account without using any buffer in between, and we just depend upon the username and the password that we have to enter directly. Okay, so nothing stands in between. So for such kind of a scenario, rather than choosing a simple password, I'm going to talk about that. Don't make up obvious choices like last name, first name, nickname, birth date. This is what is happening. This is a reality. Rather than doing that, try to make your password as random as possible. And I suggested the method. You can think of a sentence, just remember that sentence. It is easy for you to remember a sentence than a very complex word, string of words. So just remember that sentence, convert that sentence into an acronym, abbreviated version, and then you can add some letter at the beginning, something at the end, depending upon the service that you are availing. Let's say for Gmail account, you can start with capital G and with lower L. So this can be one of the methods. I understand that what you are implying is that we can use some services, some extra software can also be downloaded, and they are there. It all depends upon how dependable they are. I hope that answers your query.
Sir, I have a question.
But only.
Yes,
Sir,
Dr.
Sir, how can we save our password and from the shoulder camera while using our ATM?
Okay. You see, once you enter the ATM machine, first of all, make sure that no attachment has been, no extra device or attachment is made to that ATM machine, which appears to be a bit abnormal. Normally in India, it so happens there's always someone, some keeper is there, some guard is there with the ATM machine. So we know that it is not possible, not easy for someone to come and attach the device. But there are several ATM machines which are unguarded. So there you have to be careful. Just look at the machine very carefully, and you will get to know that no spurious device is attached. At least no skimmer is there. It looks a bit bad, but you can even just try to pull that slot in which you are going to enter your ATM card. That is, no separate attachment is there. Likewise, just see that those small camera is also attached at the somewhere. Although you find that there is a camera attached with the ATM machine, which is monitoring the people who are accessing the machine. So that is there for the safety and security of the ATM machine itself. But I'm talking about some spurious camera which has been attached in such angle that it is capturing whatever you are entering. So some simple method can be, you enter your number with the right hand, let's say, and just hide the fingers using your left hand. So that is some simple practice which you can adopt. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. And sir, how can we check the other person to take the heat from the buttons also? Because you have explained the thing that the other person take the shot of the heat on the button.
Thermal
So
camera.
how can we check that thing?
Tell you very frankly, this has happened very recently, and one has to just ensure that once you have entered all the numbers on that point of sale machine or the ATM machine, before leaving and everything a transaction is done, just touch all the numbers again. Just put your palm there. So at least you can make all the number keypads at the same temperature.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that answers. In fact, I thought of the solution right now. Tell you
Hello,
very
sir.
Thank
Can I
you.
ask one question, please?
Yes, Dr. Shobha.
Sir, I want to know how to find out whether the device is fake or it is genuine one.
It depends upon your common sense. I can only tell that, ma'am.
But sir, you just told that the example of spoofing the keyboard, the person has exchanged the original keyboard with the other fake keyboard. So in that case,
You see, if you are using your own keyboard, sometimes you just remember that, okay, this is what you are using. And we Indians do not replace the keyboard very frequently. It is there for years, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. We know exactly where the dust has settled and so on. But if somebody has changed, especially those people who are in the responsible position, like you are bank manager, general manager of some industry and so on, there they have got to be very careful. They should not allow access to their systems to all and sundry. Strangers should not be able to access the machine in order to make changes. Or if somebody is coming, like the cleaner is there, then be sure that whoever you are appointing, they are dependable. And if
okay, sir, if we are using public devices, then
you are not sure. You're not sure, certainly. When you're using a public machine, you are not at all sure because strange things are there. And who is extracting your data, you can never be sure about that. So just try to stick to your mobile phone only, because you are using a phone and all the transactions can be carried out through your mobile phone these days. Smartphones are strong enough, robust enough. Okay.
okay.
Hello,
thank
sir. Sir, hello.
Yes, Dr. Amina.
Sir, in some sites, I have seen that they provide the virtual keyboard to enter your password. So I have that query that how much it is secure. That means virtual keyboard. Is it secure, sir?
Certainly much secure than entering the keys on the physical keyboard. Why? There will be software which are called as keyloggers. So they are extracting the data from the keyboard. But when you are using a graphical virtual keyboard, then that's the known.
Sir,
I'll come to you, Yuri. I'll just give a lecture in just 5 minutes.
Sir,
Okay?
1 minute.
Just give me 5 more minutes. Yes, Amir.
A very nice presentation. One thing I want to ask that, please share the presentation, the PPT of the presentation.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll ask Professor Asim Saab to just share it to you. Okay, I'll send it to him. Okay, I'll just finish because I was talking about the best practice. That is very important. What you should do, that is there. What you should do not do, that is also important. Do not use simple passwords. Please switch your mic off now, all of you. Do not use birthday, name of your spouse. This happens. Name of your pet, make and model of your car. This is a very common thing which people adopt while choosing the passwords. Don't use your username as your password. Don't share your password with anyone. Don't use a word which is available in any dictionary or foreign dictionary, because these can be easily hacked. Don't use a simple sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's very easy to crack. Within few seconds can be cracked. Don't use a password small, 6 characters. Don't use a palindrome, word spelled backwards. And don't use a password of all digits. Don't use a solitary word from any language. Don't use the same password for more than one system or website. This is very important. Don't reuse the same password for different services. And some more thing is that don't use date to create a password. We think that, okay, if I use August 2001, so this is quite strong. No, it is not, because it can be very easily checked. Don't reuse your last 10 passwords. There are lots of sites, various services, various banks. They prohibit you from reusing the same password. Dr. Kumar Mahendra, please switch off your mic. And don't provide your password or any of your information, sensitive information, over email or instant message. It is a very common thing which happens. You get a mail or message from your friend and saying that I need some information, and you just become very gullible, vulnerable, and you reveal that information. Likewise, somebody who masquerades as a bank manager or somebody from the bank calls you and saying that your bank account will become inoperative if you do not enter such and such data and so on. So don't become vulnerable to such kind of, don't fall prey to such people. So what you should do, go for two-factor authentication. That is one thing that you can do. And now Google Authenticator is also sometimes used for making your password very strong. And avoid getting phished. Phishing is something which happens. So secure your home network. Keep on changing the password of your Wi-Fi network, and do not allow strangers to use your computers. Be careful where you click. You are, let's say, opening some website, and so many links are there. So be careful where you click, and better hover your this mouse over the various links and see what site it is going to open. So this is a simple thing which you can do in order to avoid falling prey to those phishing sites. Be skeptical of job offers. There are people who are offering you jobs. Avoid that. Be very careful about these who are tricking, and protect your devices. So that is also very important. So in the end, I will say that whatever we do, we have understood what are the various authentication schemes, what can be the best practices, what should we do and don'ts, yet nothing is foolproof. People are there. In fact, human mind is so fertile, so intelligent that it will come, always try to overcome what is security measure that you incorporate. So there can be different means also, but this is now beyond the scope of this lecture, this session. I'll stop here, and I again welcome some more questions if you have any. We do have.
So one question, sir. Hi, sir. Hello, sir.
Dr. Kumar Mahendra.
So Surendra.
Acha, it's written here Kumar Mahendra. Okay, Surendra, tell me.
So the question is that you told me that we need to have different passwords for different purposes. Somebody Facebook, somebody Gmail, somebody Amazon, or different email like that. So what? But one of my friends who told me that it's difficult to remember different passwords for different purposes, and that is why he used only the single password. So will you tell us that what are the demerits of having same password of different purposes?
Okay, Surendra, it's a very important question, that what is the drawback of having the same password? You see, you are familiar with the chain. Chain is there, which is used for securing either your pets or perhaps your premises. Now, if one of the links is weak, the whole chain can be broken. The same thing applies here also. You can draw an analogy that if one of the passwords is hacked, then those persons, the syndicate which is involved in such kind of activities, they will immediately try to check, because they also know that this is a human tendency to keep the password simple and use the same password for different services. So if you use one password for your Axis Bank account, then they will immediately try to see whether you are using same for your SBI account, for ICICI Bank, or for your email, and so on. So if if you're using one password, then certainly you are quite vulnerable. Similar to that. the chain's weakest link. Okay, Surinder?
Hello, sir. Sir, it is means it is safe for net banking.
Thank you, sir, for
We should
enlightening
have,
the mind. Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
It is safe for the net banking when we are using virtual password. So it is safer than those. Do you think so, sir?
Yes, instead of using the actual physical keyboard, you can go for that virtual keyboard which pops up on the screen. It is not very easy to use, but with practice, you can always use it. And
Yes,
it is
yes.
certainly far better.
We have to do properly, then we should do that, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Who is this?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. This is Dr. Anupam Chanda.
Dr. Anupam Chanda. Yes, tell me.
सर हम लोग कभी कभी जैसे होता है प्ले स्टोर में कुछ ऐप अवेलेबल नहीं होता है तो हम लोग कहीं पे थर्ड पार्टी से डाउनलोड कर लेते हैं तो वो कितना सेफ होता है मतलब सिक्योरिटी पर्पस के लिए
जो थर्ड पार्टी है, you are not very sure why it is being so generous to allow their software to be the software to be downloaded from their site. There is something always fishy. So either the third party has got to be very dependable, very trustworthy, only then you should download from there. Otherwise, you are never sure, because the moment you download from third party, there is a possibility that there will be attachment with their software. You might be unknowingly downloading that is spurious content of the software, which will be perhaps used for capturing the information from your system. So be very cautious about these third party.
हाँ सर नहीं कुछ वेबसाइट है सर जैसे कि बहुत रिनाउंड है तो फिर भी उनका जो ऐप है वो प्ले स्टोर में मिलता नहीं है जैसे कि DJI ऐप वो जो मोबाइल गिम्बल का ऐप है मतलब कंपनी है उनका ऐप स्टोर में है लेकिन प्ले स्टोर में नहीं है
You do at your own risk. I can only say that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Sir, I'm Dr. Musawwir. I have a question. Sir, Sarosh sir.
Yes, Dr. Musawwir, yes, tell me.
Actually, my question is about the National Cyber Crime Portal in India. What is the success rate when you lodge the FIR? What is the success rate in India? I mean, it depends on case to case, or it is I mean, unanimously they take the cognizance.
Actually, the goal of the government is very clear. That is, once e-governance came into existence, like I was involved with this e-governance initiative, and I was involved with the LBSNA also for some length of time, right from 2002 to 2007. There, the goal was that whatever services that you wish to avail from the government, it should not be channelized through any person. It should be a faceless kind of a communication. So whatever service, either you want to get any information from the collectorate, either you want to access any corporation like a municipality, or from the police also, there should not be direct interaction. Rather, you should be able to file your grievance or your report in an online mechanism, and whatever action has got to be taken, that should be taken on the basis of the merit of your case, rather than talking about the person who is involved. But unfortunately, people know the reality is that if you want the case to be further processed and further to be taken care of, then you have to have some kind of a direct means where you have to interact with the authorities. You see, so happens that if your phone gets lost, there's a means that you approach the nearest police station, and they should put your phone on surveillance, and they should be able to know that who is using that phone and when it was switched on and so on. They will be able to track it and ultimately catch the fellow. But we all know that it is not done. Only when you've got a proper clout, you know somebody in the higher ups, only then they are going to listen to your query. So this is the same thing, that if you want that your case to be taken up very quickly, sometimes, unfortunately, it is not done on priority because you are not on priority. But the goal is clear. The government wants it to be done in a very seamless manner and without any bias. That's what e-governance is all about. That is the goal of primary objective of providing these online services, be it cybercrime or whatever. Okay, Musawwir?
What is the, I mean, statistical, a success rate of catching the cyber criminals in India? I don't know exactly on the internet.
Yes, you're right. In fact, we find that most of the cases are being, that the scamsters, they reside out of the country. They are in Nigeria sometimes. So we have got no way of extradition. Treaties cannot be sometimes exploited. We all know that these crimes are happening from abroad, but if it is happening within the country, the success rate is very good. I do not know exactly what is the figure there, but if there are means through which the IP addresses can be traced, and such scammers are captured quite frequently, and that's why most of these people reside outside the country. Either in China, you might have heard of these loan scams. You keep on getting calls that such loan is available, and just apply online. Within 10 minutes, the amount is transferred to your bank account. This is happening very frequently, very easily. But there's a big racket once you fall prey to this. And who are the people who are supplying you with the loans? These are Chinese operators. So they have got big money, and they just loan you at a click of a button, and then they know how to extract the money back. Okay, so I think I'll end the discussion here if there is no other question.
I had one more
Sir, may
query.
I ask a question?
Dr. Supanya? Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, very interesting session it was indeed. And myself, Kanya, sir, my point is, in some cases, we see that there is the provision to use the passwords only in numbers, not in the alphanumeric manner. So, in those cases, how we can use the password safely? Like, is there any strategy to make the password safe while we choose only the numbers?
I'm sorry, Dr. Supanya, it was echoing. So can you please repeat your question? I'm going to switch off my mic.
Okay, sir. I'm telling that in some cases, there is the option to use only the numbers for the passwords, not the alphanumerics. In those cases, is there any strategy to use the numbers safely? Like how we can make the password safe in those cases?
Sometimes these services come along with you can increase the number of digits. For example, PIN number is always 4 digit. We use it in banks, and you see how many possibilities there? 000 to 999, 10,000 different possibilities. So it's a very small password space, certainly. Now in mobile phone, you find that there is again a provision you can provide the PIN number, but there the number of digits is high. 6 is normally used. So they come along with some other means like multi-factor authentication. They have got some graphical means also. In fact, the second part of my lecture would have been on the very interesting means of graphical user authentication. But since this lecture was dedicated only for the first part, so you find the mobile phone also. You draw some pattern. So PIN number is there. Along with that, you can have a pattern also, which is difficult to decipher and check. So directly, there is no means, there is no way through which you can make those digits-based PIN number strong, because you are limited. Only 10,000 for 4 digits. Likewise, just some more when you go for 6 digits.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all of you for your patient listening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Really,
Thank
it
you,
was a
sir.
very
Thank you,
fruitful and
sir.
productive
Thank you, sir.
session.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Very informative
Thank
lecture.
you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.